Hey guys, welcome back. I know I'm talking again. Wow. So I went to go see Terminator Dark Fate yesterday, and it was pretty good. The reason I didn't get a review out yesterday is because I went to go see it at like 9 o'clock. I didn't really want to record back when I got back at like midnight, so here we go. Here's my review of Terminator Dark Fate. Sorry for being a day late. So, Terminator Dark Fate. How do I even begin to talk about Terminator Dark Fate? Ooh, this is a bit of a doozy. So, Terminator Dark Fate is the third movie of the Terminator 1 and 2 franchise. It's the third movie and the conclusion of Terminator 2 that never happened. But it's also the first movie to a new trilogy if the movie does well enough. And I'm going to stop everything right here and just say a few things. I enjoyed the movie. This is completely my own opinion. I thought it was actually really fabulous and captured everything I wanted from Terminator 2. But with that being said, here's a spoiler review. Don't watch any further. If you haven't seen it, I 100% recommend you go see it though. So let's start off. So the plot basically, a T-800. So when John Connor, in Terminator 2, they sent multiple T-800s to kill John. One of them finally caught up with him. And that was Arnold. And it was on a beach day. So, yeah, we have the T-800 kill John in the first about 5 minutes of the movie. And then it cuts to 22 years later. We get Danny Ramos, we get Grace, we get all these characters introduced. And then we go, meet the T-800. They go to try to cross the Mexican border, meet the T-800. The T-800 helps them train the girl. They decided if they find a way to kill the Rev-9. They fail that way, then they try again, they fail again, and then Danny tries to kill not the T-800, the Rev-9. But the T-800 had already been deactivated from it, so Sarah's yelling at the T-800 to wake up. And then he calls him Carl, which is the T-800's name. And he wakes up and grabs the Rev-9, shoves the bomb in his face, and they're right behind a cliff, little engine thing. So he falls down with with the Rev-9, and they're on the ground sitting there. And then he kills himself to kill the Rev-9. And yeah, the Rev-9 dies, and so does Arnold, which is kind of sad. I'm not gonna lie. Can he not make it through one movie? Can Arnold really not make it through one movie? Is it that hard? I just think it's ridiculous that they can't even get the T-800 through one movie. Every movie, it's a different T-800. So that's kind of weird. But moving along. No plot of the movie. I thought it was going to end on some sort of cliffhanger. It doesn't. It feels like a standalone movie, not going to lie. Star Wars The Force Awakens clearly had more going for it. But this movie, sure, you can explain Legion and stuff, but it doesn't need to be there. The whole Legion plot doesn't need to be there. I get it, they stopped Skynet, and I'm glad that. They stopped the future, but I don't know, Legion's a stupid name. They still call them Terminators. They still do all the stupid stuff. So, it's basically Skynet, but just renamed. So, yeah. It's really interesting that they did that. But again, it's future with the machines. Didn't we stop that last time? Yeah, no we didn't. Anyway, let's go into characters. Grace. I hate Grace. And it's not because she's a girl. I think she's too much of a blank slate. She's not anything. I can't tell you how many times she said, we need to go now. Or, we gotta go now. Like, I don't know, she's a bit of an annoying character. Her quirk of not having that much metabolism is just there for stupidism. But I think she's the only character on this list I really, really hate. I'm so glad she died. I don't want to see more of her. But of course we will, because probably like Arnold, she'll come back every single movie. Unless they do it like the Force Awakens style, where they kill Han Solo in his grand return, and then we get other characters back from the past, like Marcus. You never know. Danny Ramos, actually a really nice take on a John Connor type character. Now, I love Edward Furlong as John Connor. I love that so much. But of course, John Connor, I'm saying, and I know this is going to make a lot of people mad, I'm saying he served his purpose. He didn't need to be in the franchise anymore. And that doesn't mean I don't want him in the franchise still. I'm just saying he doesn't need to be in the franchise anymore. His purpose was Skynet. Danny Ramos' purpose is to kill Legion. So, you get where I'm going there. Like, this is a new John Connor. And I really like the girl idea. I really think female heroes really need to be more prominent. After the Captain Marvel, I was like, okay, that was a bad one. Let's get a good one. I saw Terminator Dark Fate, and I'm like, okay, this is a good idea. Now let's build upon it. Don't underbuild it. Build upon it. So Danny Ramos, I'm not too sure where I put her, but I like her at least a decent amount. And I'm really excited to see more. Sarah Connor, I think this is the most driving character of the film for me, besides Arnold, which we'll get to that in a minute. But I think the reason this film is so successful for me is because it brings back Sarah Connor. Now, I don't really have an opinion on Sarah Connor from the older movies. I never really liked Sarah Connor, probably for the sexist reason, but this one I really like her. She's an action hero. I thought she was just going to stand and do nothing, but no, she does stuff. And it's a really good take on the movie for her to be returning in this style. And she did survive, so she will be in the sequels. I'm not sure about Arnold. They could do the Han Solo thing, where he's Han Solo and she's Princess Leia. She makes it to this trilogy, dies in the third one. Arnold makes it to the first one. And I'm actually going to say, I wouldn't mind that too much. I feel like Arnold's been stuck in this franchise over and over again. He dies every time. I think Carl just needs to be put to rest. And that's not saying I don't want to see more of the T-800. I do. But I feel like we're done with it. Move on. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is my favorite actor, so this is kind of hard for me to say, but I think we're done with the T-800. It's time to move on. Let's move on. But Sarah Connor really kicked butt, so, very, very nice with that. I'm going to keep going back to Force Awakens. This is the Force Awakens of the franchise, so, expect a lot of nostalgia runs from it. So let's keep moving on to the characters. Next up, the Rev 9. Holy crap, am I getting T-1000 vibes from this, and not the right vibes. So, the T-1000 was this little liquid metal Terminator that had no endoskeleton and stuff like that. And that worked. The CGI worked for that. But now, in a modern age, if they were to redo it, this is probably what he would be. But it's really interesting because the endoskeleton itself that's inside the Rev 9 is not like a liquid metal, it is an endoskeleton. But it's pretty indestructible. But with the and liquid metal part of it, that's the body of the endoskeleton. And that guy is pretty much just a full T-1000. So, you know, you can see that. Where got that from? Rev 9 is very human-like. He says good morning. He says sorry about stuff he breaks. He says my whole body's a weapon, which is, I really, really like that line. I hope that comes back. But I really felt that this was a delivering return to a T-1000 Terminator. A nice Terminator. And then he even asks the whole crew right before they're about to fight. Like, he asks Arnold, Sarah, Danny, and Grace, why don't you just let me have her? You know, like, he's asking to just stop the fighting and just let me take her. And of course they don't, but like, he's not mindless like the T-1000. The T-1000 was a little bit mindless near the end. Like, he still emulated compassion, but I feel like Rev 9 really captures that compassion-esque. He does get beaten around, but it's explained that a Rev 9 can be taken down in a fight, but will come back. So, you know, it's almost impossible to kill it. Which is a really cool concept of a Terminator that can be beaten around, but can also be not, like, almost indestructible. So yeah, I really like the concept of the Rev 9. Really hope they bring back more, like a Rev 10 or something. Rev 19. Moving on to the final character on the list, Arnold. I really like this take on Arnold, or Carl. It really worked to have a T-800 as a family man. I really like that. This Terminator had regret, or what he emulates as regret. Yeah, it's really sad to see, and his family didn't know that he was a Terminator, because he never had like sex or anything like that. So that was really interesting. So yeah, it was really sad to see him say, "I won't be back," to his family. And I think that when he died at the end, that was a very driving moment for me. That was like the Han Solo death, but a little more justified. And then you saw the Rev 9 endoskeleton and the T-800 endoskeleton burning there, about to die. And it was like a whole waves of nostalgia of seeing the T-800 next to this, Rev 9 endoskeleton. It was ridiculous and it was crazy and it felt good to see. And Sarah actually gives a little bit of remorse to the T-800 near the end and calls him Carl, and it was really nice to see a moment like that between the thing that killed John and for him to give it a human name. So yeah, really like the characters overall. 5 out of 6 for the characters. Action and sci-fi and horror and stuff. Action was really strong. We had a lot of good moments. Some of it was hard to follow, but most of it felt really refined and easy to track. The horror, there is body horror in this, and there is a little bit of slasher horror, which I really, really enjoy. The overall, like, R rating is a bit unjustified. It is a PG-13 movie with, like, over 20 F words in it. So, yeah, you can take it what you want, but, you know, it is a PG-13 movie. I do not recommend taking your 10-year-olds to go see it, but 12 and up, 100%. But, yeah, it was a really good film overall. I love the idea of all these characters. A little pissed that Arnold died, but understanding why, and it felt really good to see a movie where we got all these characters to come back. So, yeah, there is my review of Terminator Dark Fate. Overall, on the scale of ratings, I would give this film an A-. Felt really good, and then, like, yeah, it's an A-. It's a really good film. 100% recommend you go see it. Rated on Rotten Tomatoes, I already have. Come on, guys. The critics didn't like it, but we do. And let's make them show how much we want a sequel to see Terminator Dark Fate. Before I go any further, though, I do want to say, I know why this is going to be a very hated film. Kills John Connor. Kills T-800 again. And ruins this whole Skynet plotline. Other than that, this is a pretty good film. And thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.